Hello and welcome to this edition of Must Do Sets for CAT LRDI preparation. Whether you have just started or you're revising for the upcoming CAT examination, these are sets which you should not miss out on. In today's session, we'll be looking at Venn diagrams. Now, Venn diagrams have been very frequent in the CAT examination. Every year, at least one set has been there in each of the slots over the last 3 to 4 years, for which the papers are actually available. Now, the key challenge in a Venn diagram is to identify the region. The moment you identify the region, about half your problem is solved. The remaining half is basically to figure out whether it's a 3 variable problem or a 4 variable problem, how to manipulate those variables. Then your algebraic strength comes into play. But the first step is to identify the correct region which is being asked in the problem. A variation to the Venn diagram problems are optimization, max-min sort of thing. You need to optimize in terms of maximize the number of people in a particular region or minimize the number of people in a particular region. Now, unlike what gets asked in your mocks, like for example, maximize people who satisfy exactly 3 or minimize people who satisfy exactly 4, those type of questions direct never come up in the CAT examination. Again, those are usually done with a formula straight away. If you are running short of time, obviously you can skip to the relevant sets. Each of the videos which we'll be releasing will have links available in the description, where if you click on it, you can skip to the relevant set. So this set basically is very straightforward in the beginning, because you know exactly what this set is about. You know it's going to be about Venn diagrams. You also know it's going to be optimization. There is very little data, so obviously you cannot figure out all the values. You have even the questions give you a lot of hint, like for example, at least, what is a minimum. This one is if and if. So you know that there's only little amount of data, and you basically have to create the Venn diagram as quickly as possible and then move on to the questions. Let's see what the data says. An online survey about the usage habits of 150 respondents regarding their usage of different browsers among Chrome, Safari and Firefox threw up the following results. So 150 people, 3 browsers, Chrome, Safari, Firefox. Each respondent used at least one of the 3 aforementioned browser. Okay. Exactly 1 person used all 3 browsers. Okay. 9 respondents used Chrome and Firefox only, while 12 respondents used Safari and Firefox but not Chrome. For each browser, the number of respondents who used only one of the 3 browsers was not more than 50. Okay, this will need to read up a little bit. 107 did not use Firefox. Okay, so let's draw a diagram. So you have this total is 150, nobody outside. Okay, each used at least one browser. Exactly 1 person used all 3 browsers, so E is equal to 1. That's also fixed. 9 respondents use Chrome and Firefox only. Chrome and Firefox only, so F will be equal to 9. While 12 used Safari and Firefox but not Chrome. Safari and Firefox, not Chrome. So D will be 12. Okay, so this is also done. The fourth statement says, for each browser, okay, the number of respondents who used only one of the 3 browsers was not more than 50. So let's try this. So for Chrome, the number of respondents who use only one browser is 50. Now inside Chrome, region A, they use 1 browser. Region B, they use 2 browsers. Region E, they use 3 browsers. Region F, they use 2 browsers, right? So the number of people in that one browser region should be not more than 50. So A should be less than or equal to 50. Similarly, C should be less than or equal to 50. G should be less than or equal to 50. Okay, so that is also done. Okay, and the last one, 107 respondents did not use Firefox. They did not use Firefox. So 107 did not use Firefox. Right, which means the balance 150 minus 107, which is 43 used Firefox. Firefox will be 43. Now under Firefox, I already know 9 plus 1, 10, 10 plus 12, 22. So G, the region G should be 21. 43 minus sum of all this should be 21. Right. And if I were to just look at who do not use Firefox. A, B and C do not use Firefox. So A, B, C combined should be equal to 107. A, B, C combined should be 107. Okay, so I've used up all the information, right? I still don't know how much is A, B, C individually, right? I have some restrictions like A is less than equal to 50, C is less than equal to 50, A, B, C combined should be 107. Nothing much we can do beyond this. Let's go to the individual questions and try to solve them. Question number 1. The number of respondents who used at least 2 browsers is at least how many? Right. Now, at least 2 browsers will be E, F, D and B. Right. That will be the minimum number. Right. We know E, F and D. That total is 13 plus 9, 22. I need to minimize this value. Now this value will be minimum when B is minimum. So the question is basically how to minimize B. What other relation do we have? ABC should be equal to 107. Right. Now if I have to minimize B, I need to increase the value of A and C to as high as possible. What is the maximum value of A? Maximum value of A is 50. Maximum value of C is also 50. So minimum value of B will be 7. 100, 107 minus 100, 7. Right. Now if I reduce the value of A, the value of B will increase because C cannot increase any further. C has reached the upper limit. Similarly, if I reduce A and C, value of B will increase even more. So this is the bare minimum value of B. Plug it in. If I put 7 over here, 22 plus 7, 29 will be your correct choice. Question number 2. If the number of respondents who used Chrome was greater than those who used Safari, what was the minimum number of respondents who used both Chrome and Safari? Now, Chrome and Safari combined is B plus E. I need to minimize this value. E is fixed at 1. So to minimize this value, I need to minimize B again. So similar restraint as this one, as the previous one. Similar restraint as the previous one. Now, so I know A plus B plus C is 107. So to minimize B, I need to maximize A and C. Now ideally it should have been 50 and 50, but there is an additional criteria here. Chrome was greater than Safari. So number in Chrome is more than the number in Safari. So number in Chrome is A plus B plus E is 1 plus F is 9 should be greater than Safari B, C, D, E. D is 12, E is 1. So 1 goes out, B goes out. So I can say A has to be more than C plus 12 minus 9 is 3. A should be more than C plus 3. And we know the maximum value of A has to be 50. So if I plug A is equal to 50, C has to be less than 47. Right? If you rewrite this, C has to be less than 47. So C has to be less than equal to 46. So the maximum value of C possible is 46. Maximum value of A in that case will be 50. This is 46. This is not 46. This is 46. This is 50. Right. So 50 and 46 is 96. 107 minus 96. B minimum value is 11. 11 plus 1 will be 12. That will be the minimum value which I need. Minimum value is 11. Plug it here. 11 plus 1, 12. Job done. Question number 3. If half the Chrome users also used Safari and half of the Safari users also used Chrome, then how many respondents use only Chrome? Okay, so let's use a symmetry here which is given to us. It's not very difficult to use a symmetry. That will be easier for us. Okay, so let's do it for Chrome. Half the Chrome users use Safari as well. Total Chrome users will be A, B, E, F combined, right? Half of that will be using Safari also. So they use Chrome and along with that they use Safari. So Chrome and Safari, that's B and E. can add an addition sign just to make it explicit. Right, if I rewrite this, you'll get A plus B plus E plus F should be 2 times B plus E. So if I cancel this out, one of the B and E will cancel. So A and F should be equal to B plus E. Right, which means the region BE, if there is 1 unit here, this will also be 1 unit. AF will be 1 unit. 1 unit here, 1 unit. So they are split equally, 1:1. By the similar logic, half of Safari users also use Chrome. So if I take the entire Safari, half of that will use Chrome, which means the other half don't use Chrome. So this will also be 1. So if this is 1, this is 1, this is 1. So what does this tell you? What it tells you is that if I take this entire region, I can split it in the ratio. So there is one region which is AF. There's one region which is BE. There's one region which is CD. The ratio is 1:1:1. So split is 1:1:1. So if I know the total population A, B, C, D, E, F, I can split it in the ratio 1:1:1. I can find the individual regions. Can I know the total value? Yes. What is the total value of A to F? Will be everything minus G. Everything is 150. 150 minus G will be 150 minus 21. So that total will be 129. So this total is 129. So split them in the ratio 1:1:1. So 129 divided by 3 will be 43. So this value is 43. This value is 43. This value is 43. Now in each of these regions, one variable is known. F is known, E is known, D is known. So I can find B, C and A. What is the question? Question is how many respondents use only Chrome? Only Chrome is region A. What is region A? A plus F is 43. F is 9. F is 9. So A should be 43 minus 9. 43 minus 9 will be 34. That will be our correct choice. And the last one, if the number of respondents who used Chrome was twice the number of respondents who used more than one browser. Chrome is A, B, E, F. So A, B, E and F combined is 10. This is 2 times the number of respondents who used more than one browser. More than one browser will be people who use 2 browsers and 3 browsers. 2 browsers is B, D, F. 3 browsers is E. So only thing which is we don't know is B, and E, F and D will be 10 plus 12, 22. So this is the relation between A and B. So if I rewrite this, A plus B plus 10 should be equal to 2B plus 44, or A should be equal to B plus 34. Okay, now what is the constraint? What is the final question? What is the minimum number of respondents who use only Safari? I need to minimize C. Now I know ABC combined is 107. So to minimize C, I need to increase the value of A and B as much as possible. I know the value of A is 50. Maximum value is 50. That's the constraint, right? I need to increase the value of B also to as much as possible. Now the other constraint with B is B should be equal to A minus 34. So to increase the value of B, I need to increase the value of A. I cannot change this 34. So if I put A as 40, B will be 16. If I put A is equal to 50, if I put A is equal to 40, B will be 6. If I put A is equal to 45, B will be equal to 11, and so on. Right? So the value of A increases, value of B automatically increases. So when A is 50, B should be 50 minus 34, 16. Right? So the combined total is 66. So C will be 107 minus 66, 41. That is the minimum possible value of C given this constraint. Right? So it's a not very difficult set, because you know just by looking at the question statement, the problem statement as well as the questions, that this is a 3 variable Venn diagram where a lot of information is not given. So we basically work through whatever is given, get our constraints, and then apply individual constraint to the questions which are given and solve it. In an exam situation, max 10 minutes. You can also solve it in 8 minutes. Again, the key point was identify it's a Venn diagram question, fill up the values, job done. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notifications button so that you are notified when we are releasing our next set of videos. Please do like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you want to connect with us, you can connect with us through WhatsApp and Telegram as well. All the relevant links are available in the description of this particular video. So this is a question which is basically on Venn diagrams. Let's see what this says. Professor Yadav, the training and placement in charge of Jaggi Institute of Technology, breathed the sigh of relief. While the placement season for the outgoing batch of 200 students began fairly well, with Infi, TCS and CTS making multiple offers to students. So you had students getting more than one offer. However, going into the final week of placements, 10% of the batch was still not placed. So out of 200, 180 were picked up by Infi, HCL, Infi, TCS and CTS. Right? But the remaining 10%, which is 20 students, were not placed. Right? He pulled a few favors from his friends at HCL who agreed to recruit the remaining students, but also wanted to make offers to the other students as well. Eventually, HCL made final offers to 43 students. As he was compiling the final numbers, he observed the following. So you have a fourth variable, which is HCL, people who were offered jobs from HCL. That also comes into play over here. So it's a 4 variable Venn diagram and you have information about all of them. And if you look at the questions are all look like determinate. So which means you will be able to solve all of the entire set. How many students had offers from CTS and HCL only? How many students had 3 offers from 3 different companies? How many students had exactly 1 final offer? And how many students had exactly 2 job offers? So basically you have to figure out each of the areas in a 4 variable Venn diagram. Let's create that particular diagram and then proceed with the rest. So I've made a 4 variable Venn diagram here. So I have Infi, TCS, CTS, HCL, total of 200 students. So before HCL comes in, what we have learned from this set as of now is, before HCL came in, a total of 90%, which means 180 students were placed between Infi, TCS and CTS. Some of them got multiple offers as well. Right? HCL came in, picked up the remaining 20 students, but also made offers to the other people as well. So there will be some people who had only Infosys earlier. Now they also got an HCL, like region I. There are some people who were initially placed with TCS and CTS, which is N, but now they got an HCL offer also. Right? So if you were to add up the regions, A, B, C, D, E, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P. All of them had 1 job offer before itself. Only F, people in F, they were picked up only by HCL. Right? So they did not have any job offers before. Now we already know that 20 students were not placed before. 90% were placed. 10% were not placed. So we know F will be equal to 20. F will be equal to 20. Right? And overall, we also know HCL made a total of 43 offers. So the entire part under HCL is 43. So entire part in HCL is 43. Okay, part A says Infosys recruited 84 students, TCS and CTS recruited 87 each. So total people in Infosys will be 84. TCS and CTS are 87 each. So if you add up the entire TCS part, which is B, C, M, N, P, L, H, J, G, this will add up to 87. Similarly, CTS will also add up to 87. Infosys will add up to 84 and HCL adds up to 43, out of which 20 are only HCL. 39 were recruited by only TCS, 16 by both Infosys and CTS, but not TCS before HCL visited the campus. Before HCL visited the campus, 39 were recruited only by TCS. So, which means before HCL visited the campus, they will have only the CTS offer, TCS offer. They will be C and G. There will be region C and G, not just C, C and G. Because G has two offers, HCL and TCS. Before HCL visited the campus, it will be with the TCS region itself, right? So C and G combined will be equal to 39. C plus G equals 39, right? 16 by both Infi and CTS, but not TCS. Infi and CTS. Infi and CTS, but not TCS. Infi and CTS, but not TCS. That will be K and J. This total will be 16. Before HCL visited the campus. After HCL visited the campus, they got split into K and J. Before that, they will be one combined set, which is outside the TCS region. Okay. Part C. None of the students had offer from all the four companies. So P is 0. And none of the students who had offers from Infi got offers from HCL. So there is nobody who had Infosys or Infi plus HCL. So J will be 0. So we can clearly say K is equal to 16. Right? I will be 0. H will be 0. So nobody is in both Infosys as well as HCL. So this makes life easier for us. This makes life a little easier for us, right? Part D. 3 of the 11 students who had offers from TCS and CTS, but not Infi, got an offer from HCL. So they had offer from TCS, CTS, but not Infi. TCS, CTS, but not Infi. So M and N. This total was 11. This total was 11. Out of which 3 got a job from HCL also. So N will be 3. M and N will be combined before HCL came in, right? Because they have TCS, CTS, but not Infi, right? Once HCL came in, some of them got jobs from HCL also. So those are 3 people, and M and N combined is 11. So M should be 8, right? This is also done. Okay. 37 students were recruited by only CTS at the end of the placement process. At the end of the placement, people recruited by only CTS is 37. So this is D will be 37. D will be 37. Okay. 11 students had offers from both TCS and HCL only. TCS and HCL only. So G, this will be 11. So G is 11, which means C should be 28. 39 minus 11. 28. Right. This is also taken care of. 37 students had offer from both Infi and TCS before HCL came to campus. They had from Infi as well as TCS before HCL came to campus. So B and L, they had from both Infi as well as TCS, because we know P anyways is 0. This is also 0. Nobody is from HCL. HCL and Infi does not intersect. So we can be very clear that this total is 37. B and L is 37. Now we need to figure out the rest. Let's try to do it. Now let's work it slowly. We know total under HCL is 43, out of which we know F, G is 11, N is 3. E is the only one missing because the other 4s are 0. Other 4s are 0. So 20 plus 11, 31 plus 3 is 34. So E should be equal to 9. E should be equal to 9. Okay, if you look at similarly for Infi the total is 84, out of which these four regions are 0. 16 plus 37 is 53. So 84 minus 53 will be 31. A will be equal to 31. Okay. Now can we split BNL? You know BNL combined is 37. Can we split them individually? If we add up the total under CTS, that should come up to 87. So L is separate there. So let's add that up. 37 plus 8 is 45. 45 plus 9 is 54. 54 plus 3 is 57. Plus 16 is 73. So 87 minus 73. L should be equal to 14. And B should be 37 minus 14, which is 23. So I have all the regions. I should be able to answer all the questions. Let's go to the questions one by one and try to solve them. Okay, question number 1. How many students had offers from CTS and HCL only? Only these two companies, CTS and HCL. CTS and HCL only. So that will be 9. Right. Question number 2. How many students had 3 offers from 3 different companies? 3 different companies. We know these two are 0. Right. So 14, which is Infi, TCS, CTS, and 3, which is TCS, CTS, and HCL. So 14 and 3, 17 will be our correct choice. Question number 3. How many students had exactly one final offer? This is pretty straightforward. 31 plus 28 plus 37 plus 20. That's 57, 57, 88, 108, 116. Okay. And the last one, how many students had exactly 2 job offers? So 16 plus 23 plus 8 plus 9 plus 11. 9 plus 11 is 20. 20 plus 8, 28 plus 16, 44. 44 plus 23 is 67. Okay. It's a pretty interesting set. Key point was figure out that HCL is added later on. You have to figure out how the regions are split. For example, both these two will be Infosys, but Infi, but not TCS and CTS, and then they got split when HCL comes in. Similarly, we had other cases also where you had 2 regions and then HCL comes in and splits up that particular region. So you need to be a little careful when you are addressing that particular region. Other than that, the question is not very difficult. In an exam situation, it will take you about 10 to 12 minutes, a moderate level difficulty, but you need to be extremely patient and extremely careful when you are solving this particular set. A lot of students miss out on good B schools because they simply don't apply and they are ignorant. They don't do any research beyond the IIMs and they are more worried about their profile and academics, etc., rather than actually getting into a good B schools and making a career in the management field. If you would like personalized B school assistance, all you need to do is fill up the Google document. Link is available in the description of this video and we'll send you individual B school recommendations which fit your profile and your career aspirations. Panjim Institute of Management has 242 students graduating each year. To ascertain the placement statistics of the batch, a placement agency, TIBIL, interviewed 6 students: Rajat, Rita, Rehana, Rizwan, Rohit, Rashmi. Of these 6, Rita, Rehana and Rashmi are girls while the other 3 are boys. So there are 242 students and there are some boys and girls. The following information was shared by these 6 students. It is known that each of the 242 students were either placed in Delhi or Mumbai and specializes in exactly one major out of finance or marketing. Okay. Now, if you read the data quickly, rest of it, it very clearly says, Rajat says, I'm placed in Delhi, and out of the 41 other boys placed in Delhi, 19 did not specialize in the same major as I did. So we are required to figure out gender, which is boy or a girl, right? Then location, and then specialization. So you can have finance and marketing, and you can have Delhi or Mumbai. Right, so we have 3-level Venn diagram, right? And it might be useful to actually put it up in a in form of a table, right? The reason why I'm asking you to do it in form of a table is because, see, usually in a Venn diagram, you have they like a particular subject or not a particular subject. So they either play hockey or don't play hockey. They play cricket or don't play cricket, or they have a car or don't have a car. But here, if it is not a boy, it is a girl. That is still manageable. But if it is not finance, then it is called marketing. If it is not marketing, then it is called finance. And the data has marketing somewhere and finance somewhere. Similarly, you have Delhi somewhere and Mumbai somewhere, right? So you might get confused. What is the opposite of, what is the other part of Delhi, which is not in Delhi, that the other part will be Mumbai, right? So it might be useful to make a table also out of it, right? Just to track which is which. Also, if you look at the questions quickly, 2 of them are Theta, the others have MCQs. Basically, you have to figure out all the individual parts. Girls, Delhi, marketing. Boys, Mumbai, finance. So basically, you have to figure out all the cells in the Venn diagram or all the region in the Venn diagram, right? So we'll have to put our heads down and actually solve it, right? So I've created this Venn diagram as well as a corresponding table with this regions marked, right? For example, this is inside is boy, outside of this is girl. Inside is finance, outside is marketing. Inside is Delhi, outside is Mumbai. So what will H represent? H is outside all these circles, which means H is not a boy, which is girl, not finance, which is marketing, not Delhi, which is Mumbai. So H will be girl, marketing, Mumbai. Girl, marketing, Mumbai. Similarly, if you look at D, D will be outside of boy, so girl, inside finance, and inside Delhi. So girl, Delhi, finance will be D. Girl, Delhi, finance will be D. So I've marked out all the regions, right? Corresponding regions here to here. Now let's quickly fill up this table. Rajat says, I'm placed in Delhi, and out of the 41 other boys placed in Delhi. Okay. So Rajat is from Delhi, boy, and there are 41 other boys who are placed in Delhi. Boys Delhi would be ENF. So we can say ENF. This is being, ENF are being talked about. How many will be ENF? 41 others plus Rajat. So 41 plus 1, this should be 42. Right. Then it further says 19 do not specialize in the same major as I did. Now E specializes in finance, F specializes in marketing. But we don't know what is Rajat's specialization. So 1 out of E or F should be 19. The other should be 42 minus 19, which is 23. So one of it is 19, other will be 23. Okay, Rohit says, out of the 85 other boys specializing in the same major as I did. So this is Rohit plus 85 other boys. So you have 86 boys in one specialization. It can be either finance or marketing. So there can be 86 boys in finance or 86 boys in marketing. Right? 63 are not placed in the same city as I am. So what are the cities? Delhi and Mumbai. So one of them is going to be 63. The other will be 86 minus 63, which is 23. So one of them is 63, other is 23. Now this 23 might urge you to mark this 23 and say, assume that this is a complement, but there might be other 23s in the grid. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll come back to this later. It's a nice breakthrough, but we'll come back to this later. Now, Rashmi says, I'm placed in Delhi and there are 40 other students placed in Delhi specializing in marketing. And from the 40 other students. So she is in Delhi. Rashmi is a girl, right? Delhi marketing. So 40 plus Rashmi. So 41 people living in Delhi specializing in marketing. Delhi marketing. Delhi marketing would be, Delhi marketing will be F plus G. Right. So 41 will be F plus G. Right. 23 are not the same gender as I am. So out of these 41, 23 are of the other gender as Rashmi. What is Rashmi? Rashmi is a girl, right? So the other gender will be boys. So there are 23 boys specializing in Delhi and in marketing, right? Delhi boys marketing. Delhi boys marketing will be F. So F is 23, right? F will be 23, which makes E as 19. Now, because F is 23, G will be 41 minus 23, which is 18. Right. So this is also done. Now, the next one says, Rizwan says, I am placed in Delhi, and of the 84 other students specializing in finance and placed in Delhi. So, 84 plus Rizwan. 85 people are finance and Delhi. Finance and Delhi would be E and D. Finance would be E and D. Now we already know E. E is 19, right? So D should be 85 minus 19, that's 66. Now if you look at it, the remaining one says 66 are not the same gender as I am, which is basically what we have. Rizwan is a boy. There are 19 boys, finance Delhi. So there are 85 minus 19, which is 66. Girls, finance, Delhi, which we also figured out from here as well. So D is 66. Next one, Rehana says, out of 27 girls specializing in marketing. So girls marketing is 27. Girls marketing will be outside of boys, outside of this. So G and H is 27. 18 are placed in Delhi. We already know. So H should be 9. H should be 9. Right, so G is 18, we already know that. Okay, and the last statement says, Rita says, I specialized in finance and 85 other girls specializing in finance. So total number of girls specializing in finance would be 85 plus 1, 86. So 86 girls specialize in finance. Right, out of girls in finance, would be outside of this and in here. So C and D. This will be C and D. Now out of C and D, I already know D. So C should be 20. Right? And you can verify 20 are not placed in the same city as I am. 20 are not placed in the same city as I am. Right? So which means Rita is basically placed in Delhi. And this is now, I can find out the total number of girls, that is 16 plus 18 is 84, 84 plus 20 is 104 plus 9, 113. I can mark one of the answers. How many girls are graduating from PIM? 113. Now, I can go back and calculate the total number of boys. There are 242 people, right, out of which 113 are girls. So 242 minus 113, 42 minus 13 is 29. So 129 will be boys. So Mumbai boys would be 129 minus this total. This is 42. 129 minus 40 is 87. This total should be 87. Mumbai boys would be 87. Okay, and we also can find out the total number of people in Mumbai throughout. 87 plus 20 is 107 plus 9 is 116. So this total will be 116, right? And if you verify this, 85 plus 41 is 126 plus 116 is 242. So we now need to just figure out these two. Now let's place Rohit now. Out of 85 other boys specializing in the same major as I did. So as I said, there are 86 people either in finance or 86 in marketing. Right? 63 are not placed in the same city. So you can have finance one city as 63. or marketing another city as 63. So one of them has to be 63. Now, the other city has to be Mumbai. The other city has to be Mumbai. Why? Because Delhi does not have, in boys, Delhi is already fixed for finance and marketing. You need 63 in one of these two places. Now, where will the 63 couple with? 63 will couple with this 23 because 85 plus 1, 86 minus 63 will be 23. So Rohit should belong to the 23 and therefore belong to Delhi. Delhi 23 has to be marketing, which means Bombay boys marketing would be 86 minus 23, which is 63. That's the only way possible. So we can also find Bombay boys finance 63 minus 87 minus 63, that should be 24. So I've filled this up. Now I can fill row wise as well. This is 44 and this is 72. Right, I've filled up every single value over here. Right, I've already answered one question. Let's go to the questions and knock them off. Question number 2 we have already answered. What is the number of girls graduating from PIM? That's 113. Okay, what is the difference between the number of girls placed in Delhi? Girls Delhi would be 66 plus 18, that's 84. And boys specializing in finance. Boys in finance would be 19 plus 24. 19 plus 24 is 43. 84 minus 43 will be 41. Question number 3, which of the following is the highest? Number of girls Delhi marketing. Girls Delhi marketing, that's 18. Boys Delhi marketing. Boys Delhi marketing, that's 23. So A is out, we need the highest. Girls Mumbai finance. Girls Mumbai finance, that's 20. Okay, they're pretty close. Okay, and boys Mumbai finance. Boys Mumbai finance is 24. So highest of them would be option D. 24 is the highest, option D. And the last one, which of the following is the lowest? Now this, we need the lowest. Girls Delhi finance. Girls Delhi finance is 66. Okay. Boys Delhi finance. Boys Delhi finance is 19. Girls Mumbai marketing. Girls Mumbai marketing is only 9. That's the lowest in the grid. So it cannot be anything else. Option C will be your correct choice. It's a beautiful question, a wonderful question. You have to first figure out that there's a Venn diagram, right, which can also be solved using a table. There's a binary sort of a thing. One is a boy, other is a girl, one is a finance, other is a marketing, one is Delhi, other is Mumbai, right? So we have to figure out where the grid is, where to place which person in the grid. Once you do that, we need to be extremely patient with the questions, also identify the regions as well as or the parts of the table, fix that carefully and then answer the question. I would suggest try this question again. It's a very nice question. In an exam situation, it can take you about 12 to 14 minutes as well, right? I would also suggest go and look at the CAT 2019 set, which is based on the same sort of concept, and try to compare which one was tougher, which one is easier. I believe this one is tougher. If you get stuck anywhere with respect to preparing for LRDI, there are some free resources which are available on our YouTube channel. We have a playlist on how to prepare for LRDI. It includes which are the topics which you need to focus on, how much do you need to spend on each area. Also, we tell you how to go about picking sets in the examination, right? So if you are not able to pick even a single set, this is a good framework to start with and build on for your CAT LRDI preparation. If you want any further assistance in terms of speaking with us, getting personal guidance, doing more practice, following a more structured path to LRDI preparation, please do look at our Ultimate LRDI course. Hi, this is a question on Venn diagram optimization. Not very difficult, but you need to be careful. It will take some amount of time. You need to be careful in terms of looking at what exactly is given. And in fact, two of the questions are related. Extra information is given to you, right? So you will not get a direct answer straight away. You'll have to work out the Venn diagram a little bit and then go to the questions. Okay, so let's see what the Venn diagram actually says. Fun Sports provides training for 3 sports: Gilli Danda, G, Kho K, and Ludo L. Currently, it has an enrollment of 39 students, each of whom is enrolled in at least one of the 3 sports. Right? The number of students enrolled in only L is double the number of students enrolled in all 3 sports. The total number of students is enrolled. Total of 17 students are enrolled in G. Number of students enrolled only in G is 1 less than the number of students enrolled only in L. Number of students enrolled only in K is equal to the number of students enrolled in both K and L. Maximum student enrollment is in L, and the total 10 students are enrolled in G are also enrolled in at least one more sport. Okay, so let me just summarize this. I've summarized this. I've put a Venn diagram here. You have Gilli Danda, Kho, Ludo, and so on, right? So I've written it down. Number of students enrolled in only L, which is G, is double the number of those who enrolled in 3 sports. Total of 17 in G. This total is 17. Number of students enrolled only in G, which is A, is 1 less than those enrolled only in L, which is this minus 1. Number of students enrolled only in K, which is C, is equal to the number of students who are enrolled in both K and L. Both K and L will be E plus D. And maximum enrollment is in L. So number in Ludo is more than number in Kho, and number of Ludo is more than number in Gilli Danda. And 10 students are enrolled in G are also enrolled in at least one more sport. Now this total was 17. One additional sport, Gilli Danda plus one more sport will be BEF. So this total will be 10. Okay. Now let's work this out a little bit. Okay. Now this total is 10. Right, which means A should be 7. A should be 7. Now we also know A is G minus 1, so G should be 8. And G is twice of E, so E should be 4. So we have fixed this part. Okay, let's move further. Right, now let's try to figure out something else. Now we know the number of people in Ludo is more than Kho. Ludo is more than Kho. So the difference, so B and C should be less than this, right? 8 plus F should be more than B plus C. Similarly, A plus B should be less than D plus G, right? So I've written this down. Now because E is 4, B and F will add up to 6. Now let's substitute back in the full part. The total is 39. So if I add this all up, right, A is 7, B keeping it as B, C is same as D plus E, and there is additional D and E, so I put it twice D and E. Then you have F and G. G is 8. This total will be 39. If I resolve this, I'll get D plus E should be equal to 9. D plus E should be equal to 9, out of which I know E is equal to 4, so D should be 5, and C is same as D plus E, so it should be equal to 9. So I have D comes out as 5, C comes out as 9. Now B and F we don't know. B and F total is 6. Now let's try to work B and F together with this inequality. Okay, if I work it with this, now because this total will be more than this total, I can say F is more than B plus 1. F is more than B plus 1. And we also know F plus B is equal to 6. So the possibilities are F is equal to 4, B is equal to 2. Or you can have F is equal to 5, B is equal to 1. Or F is equal to 6, B is equal to 0. 3 and 3 are not possible. Okay, let's try to fix these values here. If I put 4 or 5 or 6, this will be 2 or 1 or 0. Let's add up the values. I've added up these values. These are the possibilities. When B is 2, this will be 20, this will be 21. When B is 1, this will be 19, this will be 22. When B is 0, this will be 18, this will be 23. So except for B and F and these totals, we know everything else. Let's go to the questions. Okay, what is the minimum number of students enrolled in both G and L but not K? G and L but not K, which is F. Minimum possible value of F is 4. So I can write this 4. Okay, if the number of students enrolled in K and L are in the ratio 19:22, K and L are in the ratio 19:22, which means this is 19, this is 22. What is the number of students enrolled in L? That's 22. That's straightforward. Okay. Now, the remaining two questions have the same initial information. Okay. So let's look at the initial information. Due to academic pressure, students who are enrolled in all three sports were asked to withdraw from one of the three sports. So these people were to move out from three sports. They can either leave Ludo, in which case they will go to B. They can leave Gilli Danda, in which case they will go to D. Or they can leave Kho-Kho, in which case they can go to F. Right? This will become 0. Now we need to find out how these people move. Okay, after the withdrawal, the number of students enrolled in G was 6 less than number of students in L. This became 6 less than L. While the number of students enrolled in K went down by 1. Okay. After the withdrawal, you have then how many students were enrolled in both G and K and how many students were enrolled in both G and L. Okay, so we need to figure out G and K, which is the new value of B, and G and L, which is the new value of F. Okay, now, because they are moving out from all three sports, the number can only decrease, right? For example, if one person goes from here to here, Gilli Danda will decrease by 1. If one person moves from here to here, Kho-Kho will decrease by 1. If one person moves from here to here, Ludo will decrease by 1. So the numbers can only fall. It cannot rise any further. Right? Now, if you look at the difference between, we know the number of students who enrolled in K went down by 1. Kho-Kho went down by 1, which means one person moved here. Right? One person moved here. Right? Okay. So we need to figure out for the other three. Now it will not change the value of Gilli Danda's people. It does not change the value of Ludo. That will still remain the same. Kho-Kho will drop by 1. Now the difference between Gilli Danda and Ludo should fall by, should be 6. The difference between number of people who play Ludo and the number of people who play Gilli Danda, this should be 6. Right? So the remaining 3 people, we have to migrate it in such a way the difference becomes 6. Now, if I plug 2 here and 1 here, right? Gilli Danda will fall by 1 and then Ludo will fall by 2. Gilli Danda will fall by 1, Ludo will fall by 2. Right? After this, the difference should be 6. In which case, L minus G should have been originally, this is minus 1, should have been 7, which is not possible. The highest possibility is 6. So 2 and 1 is not possible. If I put 3 and 0, right, this difference should have been 9, which is also not possible. 3, 0 is also not possible. Now if I put 1 here and 2 here, if I put 1 here and 2 here, this should be L minus 1, G minus 2. So you will get L minus G plus 1 should be equal to 6, which is possible only when L minus G is equal to 5. This is possible. L minus G is equal to 5 and this is 17, this is 22. Okay, and the last scenario will be where this is 0, this is 3. Let's see if that is possible. If I put L minus 0 minus G minus 3, this should be equal to 6. If I rewrite this, you'll get L minus G should be equal to 3, which is not possible. So this is also out. So the only scenario possible is 1 person moves here and 2 person moves here. Right? So let me just erase this part and write it down neatly. Right? So the only way possible is if 1 person moves here and 2 person moves here, in which case L minus G originally should have been 5, which is possible only if this is 22 and this is 19. Now one more person is there. So initially there was 1 plus 1, now there are 2 here. There were 5 here, 5 plus 1, now there is 6 here. Now we can answer both the questions. How many students are enrolled in both G and K? G and K is now, this is 2. How many people are enrolled in both G and L? G and L is basically 6. Right. So this part was a trickiest one. For students who have enrolled in our course, we actually had a couple of sets in our learning module as such. But it's not very difficult to solve this. It's not easy also. It will take some amount of patience. You need to be very careful. The first 2 questions can be solved reasonably quickly. The last 2 questions require some amount of patience, right? You should, in the actual exam situation, it will take you about 12 to 14 minutes to solve. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notifications button so that you are notified when we are releasing our next set of videos. Please do like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you want to connect with us, you can connect with us through WhatsApp and Telegram as well. All the relevant links are available in the description of this particular video. Applicants for a doctoral program of AMBI Institute of Engineering and BAMBI Institute of Engineering. So there are 2 engineering colleges, AIE and BIE, have to appear for a CET. Okay, the test has 3 sections: physics, chemistry, maths, PCA and M. Among those appearing for CET who have 80th percentile in at least 2 sections and 90th percentile overall are selected for AET. Okay, so this is the criteria for AET. Okay, AET is used by AIE for final selection. AET is used by AIE for final selection. So this is how AIE selects. First, it will take 90 percentile overall and 80 percentile in 2 out of the 3 sections. Okay, they have to give another test called AET. Now there is a distribution given for all. There are 200 people who have 90th percentile overall in CET. Okay, and the distribution is given. Okay, so there's some information on the distribution. Before we move on, let's look at the rest of the information. BIE uses a different selection. Anyone who is appearing for AET by AIE, BIE considers their AET for final selection. So for BIE, you can take the AET test, which is for these people who have 90 percentile overall and 80 percentile in at least 2 sections. Okay. The other one is any candidate who has 80 percentile plus in physics in CET but is not eligible for AET is required to appear for a separate test. Okay, and altogether there are 400 people who have 80 percentile plus in CET. So the process is something like this. So you have a CET. Okay, based on the scores here, you might be eligible for AET. Okay, anyone who is eligible for AIT can be considered for BIE. Further, if you are not eligible for AET but you have 80 percentile plus in physics, you will have to write a separate exam. Okay, so there is a distribution over here on, it says there are 400 people who have 80 percentile in physics. Now some of them might actually write AET also, so only the balance will have to apply for a different test. Similarly, these 200 people, some of them may not be eligible for AET because for AET, besides 90 percentile, you need 80 percentile in at least 2 sections. Okay, so I've summarized the information. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so we'll first look at the CET one. This is 200. So 200 people have 90 percentile or higher in CET. Okay. Now, to qualify, you need 80 percentile plus in 2 or more sections. So this is a region where people have 80 percentile or more in physics. This is a region where you have 80 percentile or more in chemistry. This is where you have 80 percentile or more in maths. Now remember, A is not eligible for AET because he's got 80 percentile or more only in physics. Same with C, same with G. H is not at all eligible because he has not got 80 percentile in any section. So only the people who are eligible, for AIE will be this B, D, E and F. This is your standard Venn diagram regions. Okay. Okay, now let's see what the distribution is here. 200 students have 90 percentile in CET. Distribution of these 200 students. Okay, no one is below 80 percentile in all sections. So H is 0. H is 0. So which means A to G is 200. Okay, 150 have 80 percentile in exactly 2 sections. So B, D, F, not E, B, D and F will be, B, D and F will be 150. Okay. Okay. Number of people with 80 percentile in physics only is same as number of students with 80 percentile in chemistry only, which is same as number of students with 80 percentile in maths only. So A, C and G, they are all equal. So I've equalized them as A. Okay. So if we reduce these two, left from A to G, I have to remove B, D and F. So I'll be left with A, C, G and E. So which will be 3A plus E will be equal to 200 minus 150, which is 50. Okay, this is used up. Okay, now this is the last set of information. Number of people who with less than 80 percentile in physics. 80 percentile in physics, less than 80 percentile, which means outside this, that is 2A plus D is 2. People with less than 80 percentile in chemistry, outside of chemistry, so 2A plus F. To number of people with less than 80 percentile in maths, so outside of the maths eligibility, so 2A plus B. This ratio is 4:2:1. Okay, so we can find some information regarding A, F, D and B. Let's see what we can get out of this. Okay, this ratio is 2:1. So let's try to resolve this. 2A plus F divided by 2A plus B is 2/1. So if I rewrite this, you get 2A plus F should be equal to 4A plus 2B. Okay, so if I take this out, this will be 2. So F should be twice of A plus B. F is twice of A plus B. Now, if you look at the symmetry, this ratio is 2:1. So the same scenario will be here also. The same logic, I can write D will be equal to twice of A plus F. And we know F is 2A plus B. So I can write D will be in terms of B. D in terms of B will be D in terms of B will be, this is 2A plus B, 2A plus 2B. F is 2A plus 2B. So this will be 3A plus 2B, double of that. So this will be 6A plus 4B. If I put F is equal to 2A plus twice of A plus B, so this will resolve to 2A plus 2B. If I add this here, 2A plus A will be 3A plus 2B. Double of that will be 6A plus 4B. Okay, so we have one relation on A and E. And we also know the total number of students is 200. So let's put them all together in the main relation, which is A to G is 200. So when you add ACG, that will be 3A plus E. If we take that out, sorry, I'll just take this out. Okay, so if you put this back, B plus D plus F is 150. If I substitute this here, B is in terms of B. D will be twice, D will be 6A plus 4B. And F is 2A plus 2B. So this number is 150. If I rewrite this, you'll get 4 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 7. So 7B plus 6 plus 2 is 8. 8A equals 150. So we have some relationship between A and B. This is a equation which will have integral values. So we can solve this. Okay. So let's try to solve this. I'll clear some of the parts so that it'll be easier for us. Okay. I'll erase this part. Okay, I'll erase this. Okay, now let's try to solve these two. Okay, 3a plus e is 50. So now obviously a cannot be a fraction. So we need to make a should be equal to 50 minus e by 3, right? So 1, 2, okay, if I put 2 here, a can be 16. So a will be 16 or lower. A has to be less than or equal to 16. Okay, let's try to figure this out from here. Okay, so you get a equals 150 minus 7b by 8. So 150 minus 7b should be a multiple of 8. Okay, the easiest one number to put is, if I put b as 10, this will be 150 minus 70 is 80. So a will also be 10. Okay, now let's try to reduce the value of b. Now because it comes in 8s, okay, this denominator is 8, b minus 8 should also satisfy. So 10 minus 8 will be 2. So if I put 14 here, 150 minus 14 is 136, which will give a as 136 divided by 18. That will give you 17. So if I put b as 2, this will give you 17. Now this is not possible because a has to be less than or equal to 16. Okay, let's try to increase the value of b. Next value will be, now this was 8 less, so next value will be 8 more. 10 plus 8 will be 18. So this should be 7 less. So ideally it should be 3. We can verify. 18 into 18 into 7 is 126. 150 minus 126 is 24. 24 divided by 8 is 3. Right? This is a standard way of solving equations, indeterminate equations with natural numbers. I think you would have done it in maths. So there are two cases possible. B is 10, A will be 10, or B is 18, A will be 3. You can substitute it in this to get the value of E also. So there will be two cases possible for all of them. Right? So let's try to figure this out. Okay. So I've written down all of those values and how we manipulated f in terms of a and b, d in terms of a and b, and so on. Okay, so these are the two cases possible. Now let's go to the questions. Once you reach this stage, the questions are just plugging in values for different cases. Okay, what best can be concluded about the number of candidates sitting in the separate test for BIE who are above 90 percentile overall in CET? Okay, these are people who are 90 percentile overall in CET. Okay, now who sits for BIE separate test? People who scored 80 percentile or more in P, right? But did not qualify for the AIE, right? Did not qualify for the AIE. Okay, this will be the separate people. Okay, if you look at the part, okay, initially there are some people who scored 80 percentile overall. Some of them will be sitting for AET. We are required to find this portion who have scored more than 80%, 90 percentile in CET, but did not qualify for AET. That's why they have to write a separate test. Okay, 90 percentile plus. So from here, we need people who have scored 80 percentile plus in CET, but did not qualify for AIE. Now AIE are these people, right? So these are the people who qualify for AIE. People who scored 90 percentile overall is the entire region, and from this, if I take out this 80 percentile plus is this will be the people who will be eligible for BIE. So the only one who will have to write a separate exam will be people in the A region. What is the value of A? A has two values possible, 3 and 10. So option 1 is your correct choice. Right? As with most Venn diagram questions, if you know the region which we are talking about, questions are pretty easy to solve. Let's go to the next one. Okay. If the number of students who are above 90 percentile overall, which means these, and also above 80 percentile in all three sections, which is E, is a multiple of 5. Now, where is E a multiple of 5? Okay. Now, if I put A is equal to 3, this will be, E will become, if A is 3, E will become E will become 50 minus 9, which is 41. Okay, if I put A as 10, it will be 30. 50 minus 30 will be 20. So this scenario. Right? What is the number of candidates who are above 90 percentile overall and are at or above 80 percentile in both physics and maths and CET? Okay, at or above physics and maths and CET. So you're looking at E and F combined. Using this scenario, you're looking at E and F combined. Okay, what is the value of E here? E's value is 20. F is twice of A plus B. A plus B is 20. Twice of that is 40. 40 plus 20 is 60. So 60 will be your 60 will be your correct answer. This is the type in the answer sort of a question. So 60 will be your correct choice. Okay, let's go to the next one. If the number of candidates who are at or above 90 percentile and also above 80 percentile in all three sections. Again, E is a multiple of 5. The same information as previous one. So in this case, we get E as 20. Okay, same as the previous one. Okay, how many candidates were shortlisted for AET for EIE? How many were shortlisted for AET? So this region is what we are looking for. Okay, given this region is what we are looking for. Now we know this plus this plus this. B plus D plus F is 150. Add E to this, which is 20. So total of 170. 170 will be your correct answer. Right? Okay. And the last one, if the number of candidates who are at or above 90 percentile and also above 80 percentile in P is more than 100. Okay. So this number has to be more than 100. Okay. How many candidates sit for a separate test for BIE? How many candidates will sit for a separate test for BIE? Okay. Now this number is more than 100. Let's see when is this possible. Okay. If you add this part, you will have A plus B plus E plus F. Okay. Here E was how much? E was 20. Here E came out to be 41. Okay, let's see how much. B is how much? B is B. B is separate value. Value of F. F is twice A plus B. F is twice A plus B. If I add this, you'll get 3A plus 3A plus E plus 2B. Okay, this is the value for this region. Okay, 3A plus 2B. Okay, 2A plus, okay, F is twice of A plus B. Okay, so 2A plus 2B plus another B. So this will be 3B. Okay, 3 times B. Okay, 3 times B. We know this number is more than 100. This number is more than 100. Now we know 3A plus E equals 50, which means 3 times B has to be more than 50. 100 minus 50 will be 50, which means B has to be greater than 50 by 3, which is possible only in the second case. So using the second case, we need to find out how many people had to write a separate test for BIE. How many people had to write a separate test for BIE? Now, who are the people who are going to write a separate test for BIE? People who scored 80 percentile plus in P but did not qualify for AIE. Right? 80 percentile plus is 400. Okay. Who did not qualify? Okay. From this 400, these are the people who are more than 100. Okay, right? So what is this total coming now? B is 3 times, okay, what is left over here? 3B will be 54, right? 3B will be 54. So this total will be 100 plus 54, 104. This total is 104. Out of these 400, 104 have scored 90 percentile in CET. Okay, so you're left with 296 people. But Out of these 296 people, you have also removed this A. So you need to add back A because these people have not qualified. These people have not qualified. Only these three sets have qualified. These three people have, the people in region A have not qualified. So you need to add back A. So this total will become 299, right? I'll repeat the process. I'll first found B, which came out of the second region, and then from that I found out which is the people who got 80 percentile plus in P but did not qualify for AIE. Okay, so these are the people who qualified for AIE. So balance A did not qualify. So you need to add that back. So answer will be 299, option 1. Okay, so that finishes our set. That completes this session on must-do sets for CAT LRDI preparation. Please do let us know in the comments below how you liked this. Please do share this with your friends who are preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance examinations. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn, or you can connect with us on WhatsApp and Telegram groups. The links are all available in the description of this particular video. If you're facing any problem with CAT LRDI sets, you can look at our YouTube channel playlist on how to prepare for CAT LRDI. If you want any specialized, personalized attention on LRDI preparation in the most structured manner, you can also look at our Ultimate LRDI course. This is the most comprehensive course which is available in the market. Till we meet again the next time, goodbye and all the best.